the R&D is the centralized and authoritative database, and this is where all service providers, and when I say service providers, I'm talking about telecom carriers, as well as the toll-free administrator, are required to report their permanently disconnected telephone numbers every month. The FCC established the R&D as part of its multi-pronged approach in combating unlawful robocalls, and that was from the 2018 order on advanced methods to target and eliminate unlawful robocalls. It's otherwise known as the Reassigned Numbers Database Order from 2018. So, like I said, it's part of the FCC's approach to addressing the problem of unwanted calls and texts. And like you said, Brad, this specifically, when telephone number is disconnected and then gets reassigned, callers or companies that had a relationship with that former consumer might not know that. And so when they try to reach out as part of their business, thinking they have consent, they're actually not getting the original customer, and that will subject them to liability under the TCPA, Telephone Consumer Protection Act. And just a little history, under the HAL, where you see the service providers reporting their data. This started with all carriers, like I said, the wireless, the wireline, VoIP, not just wireless, but this is a mandate. They were required to start tracking all disconnects as of July 27 of 2020 and report that as seed data to the R&D administrator no later than April 15, 2021. And there was an exception for smaller providers, and by smaller voice providers, I mean those with less than 100,000 subscribers. They had an extra 6 months. So they had to start tracking on January 27, 2021, which is an important date to remember. And they had to report all their seed data no later than October 15, 2021. And that is the date when the database was considered complete. So when they report these disconnects, the FCC also, in their order, they defined a permanent disconnect. It's like, so if you port a number, that's not a disconnect. That means the number's still associated with the customer. Right. If there's a temporary disconnect due to non-payment, that's not considered a permanent disconnect. So the definition is actually in the order of a permanent disconnect. Also gotcha. Sorry.
Oops, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So part of the order also was the FCC mandated a minimum aging. So before this order, there was no aging. I mean, you could disconnect your number and then your carrier could reassign it the next day. But part of the order was when you disconnect, well, let's say you're the carrier and the number's you've disconnected it in your network. You then are mandated to age that number for 45 days before you can reassign it to a new customer.